actors. They are kept in like group based on their TTP, that's technique, tactics, and procedure.
Yep.
So with those their TTP, you can easily identify which threat actor is trying to do some malicious something online. So I think 8PT29 is Fancy Bear.
Yep. I always get them mixed up. I'm not quite sure. Fancy Bear and Cozy Bear. So, um, by the way, for anyone who's watching this later, we kind of jumped in and started recording. So thank you so much for jumping on. Hopefully you're continuing to study and continue to have fun. And yeah, welcome to Nerd Night. And this is our seventh episode, so it's exciting. I'm looking forward to obviously introducing some new concept. One of those new concept is threat landscape. So we'll actually be looking at what's happening out there within the cybersecurity environment before we then dive into a lab workshop. But it was one of the questions that was raised is APT 29. So APT 29 is a well-known threat group that was responsible or is responsible for quite a lot of threat activity. And let's quickly find out just to validate that what APT 29 is. So if we quickly do this, let's Google it, research on the spot. I'm pretty sure it's Fancy Bear, but let's see.
You said APT 29.
No, right. APT
It's
29 is
Cozy
Cozy
Bear,
Bear,
Cozy
and
Bear,
and I
Cozy Bear,
knew
Cozy Bear.
I always, my brain always somehow intertwine them. So there you have it. So APT 29 is Cozy Bear, and they're a Russian state threat actor, that is quite notorious for, attacking quite a lot of organizations, including the U.S. government and Australian critical infrastructure. The main method of attack is actually using publicly available exploits and vulnerabilities to gain access to client environments. So yeah, it's definitely something worth researching. It's about once you hit, I believe it's unit 1.2,
Mm-hmm.
you're going to hit the challenge for you to go find a threat group. So again, the question you asked was absolutely spot on. So hopefully that answers your question. And if you do want to do more research about APT 29, go ahead and do that. And I'm 100% sure you will learn a lot
I'm
from that.
gonna definitely read about them. Yeah.
Cool.
I shared the link of the trade group on the Discord
Cool.
on general platform.
Thank you.
Nice. All right. I think that was actually a really good place to begin today, which is always ask question. There is no such thing as a stupid question when it comes to CyberLink. So one of the things we want to create, or we are creating, or we have created, is an environment where every question is a good question. It doesn't matter because ultimately what we're all here to do is to learn and to grow. And so therefore, there is never a time when we would shame anyone or call them out for asking a question. We're all here to help each other, and we're all here to learn and to gain an edge within the cybersecurity industry. So to begin, I'll quickly go ahead and present. So like I said, everyone, welcome to Nerd Night, episode 7. Exciting. So for today, I'm your host, Semi Charks, founder and CEO of CyberLink. Some people call me the Sec Genie or, the Sock Yoda. But the steak master, I would take it. I'm
Yeah,
sure Nathan is
steak master
probably, yeah,
any day.
yeah, 100%. And we've also got Nathan here, who's one of CyberLink's mentor and content creator. So Nathan is actually known by the handle Liquid Legs, because he's elusive and he's also known as the awesome man. So like we discussed last week, Nathan needs no introduction. He's going to be taking us through the programming and pre-programming um, lessons and workshops. And Nathan is also working on a Python for cybersecurity and automation program. And so, in case anyone finishes the CCSA and wants to actually dive a little bit deeper in programming and cybersecurity, you can as well sign up for that, and you can finish that on average within 2 to 3 months. But that's something you can obviously do once you've landed your first job in cybersecurity as well. Before I go ahead and move forward, does anyone have any question? And by the way, feel free to intercept and ask any question you might have. All right, silence is golden. So for today, what are we trying to do? So two things. So we're going to tweak things a little bit to make this sessions as engaging as possible. So one of the things we're going to tweak is changing the actual way we run the session. So there will be a threat landscape initially, which basically will take us through seeing what is happening out there in the cybersecurity world, and then we would move down into a demonstration or a workshop or live training by either myself or one of our mentors. And then after that, we would obviously leave room for anyone to ask any questions when it comes to the lab assistance. And at any time, please, guys, feel free to come on board, join the session, ask any question, contribute to the topic at hand as well. If there's anything that you know, feel free to to interject and also clarify and go, hey, I've worked on that, I've seen that. This is why this is an awesome session. That's why it's called Nerd Night. So we definitely do not want anyone to be a captive audience. So feel free to participate and to be part of the fun. So moving forward, let's begin with threat landscape. So I picked these three threat landscape topics, one of them being Iran, which is a notorious hacking state, a nation state. Advanced persistent threat actors from Iran are usually known with the name Sandstorm. So for Iran to be paying a ransom worth millions of dollars, that is an interesting read. And South Korean APT exploit one-click WPS office bug. So I would like to know what that is. And then Russian APT28, which is actually Fancy Bear, not Cozy Bear, exploits or attacks German air traffic control. So there's some really, really cool things to see there. So we'll go ahead and actually do a live review of that. So let's start with the first one. So for this one, zoom in a little bit. So the key things here is recent report review a complex and contentious cyber conflict involving Iran. On one side, Iran faces allegations of orchestrating ransomware attacks on various U.S. federal facilities through a group known as Fox-Kidding. On the other, it has been reported that the Iranian government may have paid millions to a different hacking group to prevent the release of sensitive backing data on the dark web. Interesting. The hacking group IR Leaks, notorious for targeting Iranian entities for financial gain, reportedly demanded a ransom of 10 million US dollars in cryptocurrency to prevent the release of stolen information from approximately 20 domestic banks. As the threat of destabilizing Iranian's financial system loomed large, the Iranian government was able to negotiate the ransom down to $3 million USD. This payment was made to halt the data leaks and secure the sensitive information from further exposure. Now, I find this one quite interesting because I don't know if anyone is aware. Recently, the Australian government had passed a data policy law that bans the payment of ransom to ransomware gangs. Now, this one is one that always gets interesting because depending on who you ask in cybersecurity, they're either a pay the ransom kind of person or don't pay the ransom kind of person. And like I always say, the issue of paying ransom or not paying ransom becomes real when you're the person who's been attacked, right? So if your business is being held to ransom and you're ultimately going to go out of business because someone is asking you for $10 million, but your business is worth billions of dollars, and the reputational damage from your data being leaked to the public is quite significant and much more likely to be more than $5-10 million, then you can see why organizations would consider paying ransoms. So it's really important to understand the nuance of the matter and why it's a little bit more than just being black and white. It's a gray zone, and it's one that is open to interpretation. So Iran, obviously well known globally as an elite state hacking nation, has now fallen prey to a cyber incident themselves where they've had to pay $3 million to avoid data being leaked. So I found that quite interesting. So aside from that, just to avoid reading every single thing. So the cool thing here is that IR leaks might have connections to the United States and suggested the actions were intended to create psychological fear among Iranian citizens. However, this claim has been firmly denied by the Biden administration. Does anyone find this funny? Which dismisses as unfounded. Nothing to see here, right? So this could actually be related to the U.S. government, and Now, the reason I picked this topic is that this obviously creates an avenue for us to start talking about cyber warfare. What does cyber warfare mean? And I use this example of Ukraine and Russia just a few weeks ago, where I was highlighting that long before Russia and Ukraine ever fired a single bullet at each other, they had been in a cyber warfare for years. And I don't know if anyone remembers, and this is probably one to research, the cyber attack, not Petaya, of 2015, when Russia knocked out every critical system in Ukraine, including their hospital, their train station, and their power grid. This had significant consequences to the Ukrainian government and to the Ukrainian people. So you can see how nation states are always trying to hack each other. And this is why the word of cybersecurity is pretty fun. Well, I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing, but definitely one worth reading. I'm not going to continue reading every single part of it. But the one thing to note here is that instead, the Biden administration has accused Iran of deploying malware via advanced persistent threat. So it's a blame you, I blame you game. And yeah, definitely want to take a look at. I'll post a link to the link of that one to the group, to the Discord server. Does anyone have anything to add here before we move on?
Yeah, I do. Alex
Yeah.
snuck into the room.
Oh,
Hey, mate.
Alex.
Hey.
Welcome to
Sammy,
the party.
as always, just driven away with listening to himself.
Nah, it's fun one, right? Threat landscape is fun.
What was that?
Threat landscape is fun. So like looking at what's happening out there, it's really important. And I'm trying to help you guys begin to find this second nature, because once you actually get into cybersecurity, you have to do this every day. If not, you're going to become a dinosaur quite easily, because things are happening every day.
The stuff that Sammy's doing right now is the sort of stuff that I do for work every morning. So I have to go out and find more creative articles. Like there was one I was talking about one day about a threat actor that uses a new piece of malware that communicates using emojis rather than actual words.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting.
Uses emojis to communicate.
Yep.
Which software is that?
Talk with emojis rather than using English.
Welcome to the world of cybersecurity, Ms. Bell. It's awesome.
Well, emoji.
Everything is possible.
Yeah, 100%.
I think the emoji could be with steganography. I did text inside images. I think it's quite common. That's the act of steganography.
Yeah, that's quite possible.
Yep, absolutely.
Steven, yeah, that's possible. But does anyone remember what we talked about a few weeks ago in the NerdKnight episode? I think it was NerdKnight episode 4, where we were talking about how every single emoji actually has a binary representation of it. Right. So this actually comes right back to the game of numbers. So it doesn't actually have to be steganography at all. It can actually just be bits. The bits that are raised by the emoji, right? Because every single emoji actually has a binary representation of it, which is how the computer is able to recognize it and communicate it. So, and as we, I don't know if anyone is currently in 1.4, but if you are, and if you've watched the mandatory video there, which is the video from David, the CSS 50. So that one of the things you would find there is that the actual emoji is being managed by ASCII, which is one of our Australian American well-known organization for managing numbers and values and basically translating the alphabet to computers. So that's another way that threat actors could basically be using emojis. So it's not actually it's not about the emoji itself. It's about the thing that is behind the emoji, which are bits and numbers. That's another way that threat actors could exploit that and use it for communication. Another one that use something similar to this is I think they're called Tulsa, a threat group.
Tulsa.
Is it Tulsa or yeah? Let me see.
Also, like Tulsa King, something like that. That the city in America, something like that.
Let me remember the name. I don't think it's called Torsa. I think it's called something else. C2. I'll have to go look at what they called again. Let me do this. Satellite. C2 attack or whatever. I'm trying to remember that thread group's name that used satellite to actually exfiltrate data out of network. Yeah, it's Tola. It's Tola. So this is probably one to look at, guys, as well. Obviously, for the interest of time, I'm also going to paste the link of the other ones. So this one, how Tola operators hijack satellite internet links. Have you ever watched satellite television where you were amazed by the diversity of TV channels and radio stations available? Have you ever looked? So this particular threat actor was able to use satellite for communication to its C2, communicating to its C2 server. Like, it's amazing because guess what? There's no way you can detect it on the normal internet. So it was one of the coolest threat research that I did. So definitely recommend it. I think with that, we've already spent quite a lot of time on threat landscape today. Another one to look at I would recommend is the Office WPS one-click vulnerability, and that the Chinese threat actor, the APT, is exploiting. Definitely one to read if you've got some time. And then the third one, how do you find it?
Is it possible to write the names in the chat or somewhere?
Yeah, I'm gonna paste all of this link in our Discord
Okay.
server, so we can find them. So the last one here is obviously APT28, cyber attack that essentially targeted German's air traffic control station. So it's definitely something worth there to look at as well.
You also mentioned about an episode of NerdKnight or something before.
Yeah, so all of that is obviously on YouTube, so you can go and watch that. Yep. So
NerdKnight, right?
yep. So this session we're having right now is called NerdKnight.
Yep.
So this is episode 7. So
Episode 7.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So there's episode 1 to 6 that you can watch on YouTube. So I'll send you a link to CyberLynk YouTube channel if you want to go watch that later.
I am subscribing now. You don't need to even advertise it. Please subscribe.
Yeah, nah.
Binge-worthy,
I just do
binge-worthy
it.
content. Binge-worthy.
Cringe-worthy. Oh, yeah.
Point noted.
Alex, are you having a go at me?
No, Sammy, I'm being honest. What are you talking about? I was honest.
Sammy be like, content is king.
Yeah, guys, my YouTube career is taking off. Just be patient with me. Before you know it, you're gonna see all of those texts that that pops in here, pop out there, all of those cool things. It's gonna come. Just calm down. I'm not too
An hour ago, before we had this call, I was having a conversation with you about the exact same thing, about the name being one of those dad jokes that are so bad that it's funny.
Yeah.
Oh,
All right.
they're all so good, bad and so funny. That's why I like them. They sound so cringe, but they're so funny. I don't know. It's just.
Is it the sound of me typing on my keyboard or whatnot? Alex, which one is it? That's it.
It's all of it.
It's uncut, it's unadulterated, and it's real and raw. That's the best way you learn, right? None of that distraction. Get straight to the point. All right. With that, I'll be handing over to Nathan to take us through a live session today. But before we do that, does anyone have any question or anything to contribute? Obviously, I'll paste all of this in the chat later. Questions? Feel free to send through any.
I'd like to discuss more about that group that you mentioned about the Iran attack.
Oh yeah, 100%. So I'll paste the link in there. But feel free to bring any point. Was there a point you wanted us to discuss? Feel free to bring a point.
I mean, I was just reading about it. So, are they caught or
No, they haven't been caught.
okay?
Yeah, but Iran
And
has already paid the ransom, 3 million US dollars,
my God.
allegedly.
Okay. And what happens next? That's it?
That's it, because and I can guarantee you, it's not the first time that IR leaks have targeted Iranian businesses.
And how can we, the business, be sure like this will not happen again because they've been hacked once, it's paid, and they can come back in 5 months and say, pay us again?
I
That's
think
that's a really good question, Stephen. You go.
I think the cyber warfare between Iran and US has been ongoing. There was a time, if I'm not quite certain, but I think there was a time as in Iran, they attacked the social media handle of was it Trump when he was
Yeah,
the president, and they
yeah.
defamed his this. So it's been long time. They have been back and forth with their with their fights, with their cyber. They just want to show the superiority of who is, who has the better, has the best tactics or procedures
Power
or stuff
play.
like that.
Yeah,
Mm,
yeah, and that's
okay.
absolutely spot on. So these are two nations and this was why I
Mm.
brought up the situation between Russia and Ukraine. So the same thing as well. I think in Ned Night episode 6 or 5, I remember us discussing about the Israel-Palestine conflict as well, where they've got threat actors or attackers attacking each other on those on both ends as well. So one of the predictions that I have for the next 10 years is that quite often you're going to see less and less physical bloodshed or physical battles in the field. You're going to see more cyber warfare and aerial drone attacks with
But
high precision. So again, we don't want to go into cyber warfare here, but it's pretty awesome.
a
You know,
quick one. The Snap Food is in Iran or it's an American business?
which one?
The Snap Food they attacked. It was like
Oh,
a food delivery, is it?
no, no. So they attacked financial institutions, so banks.
Financial institution.
So
Okay.
yep, they attacked 20 banks.
Oh, 20 banks which were in US.
No, which are in Iran.
Oh, they're attacking their own country
So
banks.
now people think that this group, the IR leaks, which is what attacked Iran, people
Yeah.
think that they're connected to the US. So which is why
Oh,
Iran is saying, hey,
now it's making
yeah,
sense.
this is the US. So there is a connection between these. Again, it's unfounded, it's unsubstantiated, but there's a potential that this particular group, this little group called IR Leaks, is actually connected to the US government. But we don't know that. But Iran is obviously blaming the US and saying, hey, this is the US,
Yeah.
stop doing this, which
Now it's
obviously led
making sense.
to
Okay.
Biden's government saying, no, this is not us. There's nothing to see here. Move on.
Yep.
You didn't see anything.
No, and then while we are at, remember what you did last time when you tried to hack us, which is what
Correct
they
me
did
if I'm
here.
wrong.
No,
Yeah, go ahead.
I just opened a link where it says Iranian hacking group called IR Leaks has claimed responsibility for a cyber attack on Snap Food, and that's why I was like, you're talking about this, but because it's not their first attack, maybe I'm
Yep,
just reading one of the old
yep.
articles.
They've done quite a few. They've done quite a
Yeah,
few.
right. Okay.
And Sammy, like on the same lines as Misbah. So basically, how do we know that they're not going to attack the same thing? Or like, for example, when they ask for ransom, so what do they do? So do they lock out the access? Like, is it like they don't have access to the thing, or they take away the data and they say, okay, we will publish it if you don't give us the money?
That's a really, really good question, Pashka, that you just asked there. So ransomware groups
Mm.
have different levels of resources. So which means that the level of attack that they can campaign that they can execute on is quite varied. So some ransomware groups have a lot of resources and they can export data out of your network and have a copy of it. So that's when they will actually show you, hey, we've got 2 terabyte worth of your data stored somewhere. Other ransomware groups, like one of the ones that I'm not gonna say because I know Miss Bai is still going through that at the moment, and some other people are still going through that. So one of the ones that you're going to research, over the next few days as you're going through the course, also do not have the resources to actually export data out of your network. So what they do is they actually encrypt the data locally, and then
Mm-hmm.
they take the encryption key. So what they have is the
Oh.
encryption key. So which means that you've been locked out of your data essentially. And this is why quite often one of the first things you would see when you've been ransomware is a screen that pops up on your screen, on your monitor, that says, you've been hacked, yada 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 yada. Contact us on this Bitcoin or Tor address. So let's actually show one sample ransomware. No, so you would get something like this. If I can open that a little bit more. So you could get something like this that says your document, photos, database, and other important files have been encrypted. To decrypt your file, follow the instructions. Right, so they'll ask you to go to Talk, which is a dark web. And then once you get there, there will obviously be instruction on how to contact the ransomware group. So the point we've just raised here is, how do you know that they're not going to come back and encrypt your data again? Well, that's the catch-26. So no one knows. So you're basically playing a game of, in essentially trust in the air, because you're saying, well, and this is what a lot of businesses and a lot of organizations have to deal with, and you can see why this is hard, because you have to make a decision on, is this data that they've stolen worth the amount that they're asking for, right? And this is where we're talking about the concept about security, where you actually have to assign asset criticality to every single identity that you have. So like something like your computer or your files. So if the ransomware groups comes in and encrypts all your data, but you have backup, right? Well, you don't have to pay them any money. You can just restore your backup. But if you don't have any backups and they've also exfiltrated data out of your network, then they basically have you at a ransom. Well, it's a funny word, phrase to say. They have you at a ransom, which means as a business, and remember this, businesses are always looking at risk from the point of view of numbers. They're looking at it from a point of view of profit and loss. If the ransomware group is asking for $500,000, but the data that they've stolen is worth $1 billion, then it makes sense for them to play the gamble. And some ransomware groups are actually well known to actually give you your data back and give you the decryption key. Others are a little bit more erratic than others. So it's literally about working with the ransomware group. And this is another thing you guys have to be aware of as well. There are actually literally businesses who are ransom negotiators. So businesses that have ties to the ransomware groups that would help you go negotiate for a cheaper deal or lesser money. So again, we can talk about this for days, but like it's one of the most sophisticated business model that threat actors have created, because it's so easy to do. You don't have to have any major technical tools. It's just download the malicious file, malicious executable, run it, and like I've actually seen a ransomware attack where the threat actor didn't even do anything technically advanced. All they did was run a find command, and then they did a find command for anything that ended in .pdf, .txt, .xlxs, and .docs. They ran a command to do that, to find it, and then renamed it. Because they renamed it, people couldn't open the files, and it wasn't actually encrypted. So there's a lot of things that could go wrong there, but yeah. Anyways, hopefully I haven't spent too much time on that.
Okay, I just wanted to add something as well. I think basically what I would say is that based on the attackers now, or the threat actors now, based on their tactics, you can then decide, oh, these ones, maybe if you give them the ransom, they can collect it, and and they might not escalate it further. But I think as a cybersecurity professional now, the three triage of cybersecurity is confidentiality, integrity, and availability.
Yep.
And I feel if I'm a professional in the field or something like that, the first thing I'm meant to look at is if the attack itself, how did they come into the network? Was it through maybe because as they do say, the the easiest way to attack your network is human being are the weakest link to a network itself. So I'll try to see the tactics or the how did they get into the network? That is what I should be worried about. If I can see that it's something that I'm not even aware of, maybe it's a 0 day or something like that, a 0 day vulnerability that is used, and I don't even know how they got into the network, I could be worried. But if I can see the tactics and the procedure, I can easily block them, just as they say. Or what? Sorry, Tricks, is that a good idea or something?
Yeah, that's a really good idea, right? So essentially finding out the initial point of entry and then blocking it. So that would answer some of that question as well. But as we all know, and this is one of the conversations we've been having, that there's always another vulnerability. There's always another entry point, and this is why you would hear a lot of cybersecurity experts use this phrase. You know, um, it's not will it happen? Will you be hacked? But when will it happen? Because everyone can be hacked. There is always a vulnerability that can be exploited. So yeah, it's a game of risk. It's literally a game of risk, to be honest with you. And yes, Stephen, you're quite right. That's a measure. And just to clarify what Stephen was alluding to there, so cybersecurity, the high level architecture or the baseline or perhaps um, strategy of cybersecurity is based on three key triads. So the cybersecurity triad. So that's confidentiality. I think everyone knows that. Um, Availability and integrity. So integrity means essentially is the data the same way that it was, or has anyone changed anything to it? And then confidentiality is the right person who's supposed to receive the data, the right person viewing it. And then obviously we have availability is the availability, which means simply means is the people who are supposed to have access to this data able to have access to it. Is the data available to be used? And threat actors would often, again, if you drill it down and take it all the way to the highest level, it always comes down to one of those three key points. So it's that threat actors are trying to attack you via confidentiality. It's basically using things like man in the middle attacks, or they're trying to disrupt availability, which is where they use things like DDoS, distributed denial of service, or denial of service altogether, or they might be trying to attack you using integrity, which is injecting malicious code in the network, or changing the data that is within the file itself. An example of this is business email compromise, where a threat actor can actually interject an email that is coming to the finance team of an organization and change the bank account details that is meant to be sent money, right? And therein confidentiality, in availability, integrity has been breached because the data that was originally meant to be sent has changed. And another thing that has also been breached as well is confidentiality, because guess what? That email is intended for one person, and another third party has been able to gain access to it. But yeah, that's a really good example. Does anyone have any other point?
I wanted to highlight one little thing, is that one little cheeky thing about ransomwares and everything, that sometimes businesses, instead of investing to cybersecurity, they just have a cyber insurance.
Yep.
And they just say, we'll just pay it out. That's it. And that's how threat actors as well know how that they will be paid this money, and there's no negotiation, because they know that this company has cyber insurance, and they'll just then they just research, okay, what is the cyber insurance, what is the insurance like, top whatever level or number, and they just say this number, and when negotiations come in, they say no, because they know that you have a cyber insurance. But that's another thing, because then business don't invest in things. They say, well, instead of paying this money into investing cyber into defense, they'll just say, if something happens, we'll just use our cyber insurance, and that's it.
Yeah. I've got a question for everyone. Based on the information we've just shared over the last few minutes, what should a cyber defender or cybersecurity analyst be doing about this? And there's no such thing as a wrong answer. So I want to hear people's thought. So Poshka, what do you think as a cyber defender you should be doing about ransomware groups?
I think it will depend on case to case, 100%. But I think we should research the cyber group and then make an informed decision that whether they will impact, like whether they will straight to the word, and secondly, as you mentioned, like the value of asset. So if the value
Yeah.
of asset and the value of ransom is too, like the ransom is too less as compared to the asset and the reputation cost, so we should pay the ransom, but otherwise we should not, because at the end, like morally speaking, we can say, oh, we should never pay, but as a business, we'll have to take into consideration as the numbers only.
Yeah, that's a good point. What about yourself, I guess, Steven? From a defender's point of view, right? So let's assume we ignore the business conversations.
I think just as I said earlier, and just as Pushkar said, is to determine the threat attack, their tactics, and what they just make a research on them and see what they are likely going to do. Based on the each cases are different as well. So if you see the attack itself, what exactly, the level of the attack, I think they used to have high, medium, and low level, something like that. And confirming if the attack itself is, going to like be something that is going to be disruptive or something like that, then you can make an informed decision. It's either based on the attack itself, the point of entry. If I can discover that yes, the point of entry I know where it's coming from. Maybe it's maybe a phishing link or something like that. That the security was breached. You understand? I can be able to make an informed decision. Yeah, this is what to do. This is what not to do.
Yeah, that's good, pretty good. Thank you. Alex, what would you do as a cyber defender? Say you've been hired by CBA Bank, and you're the cybersecurity analyst or cyber defender on their team, or threat analyst. What do you think you can do to protect CBA from a cyber incident via a ransomware attack?
Well, first of all, research just to understand the I would say, what threat actors most likely will attack us. So the ones that specialize in attacking our industry. Then you research their main, like their TTPs and everything to understand where are they going to aim and what's most likely what they're going to do, because TTPs from the pyramid of pain, as you showed us, is the hardest thing to change because everything else, hashes, IP addresses, domains, that can be changed, but TTPs is the hardest thing for them to change, like the code they use or the programming language for their malware and everything. We need to understand what our vulnerable places are. So if they, for example, if like most of the threat actors go through emails and start from phishing, but also some can be use more crude ways of infiltration, like, I don't know, exploiting vulnerabilities, I don't know, SQL injections, or just finding some unpatched systems. Just find out what the TTPs, what their actions should be, and then start to, and then you can't fix them all at once. So you need to prioritize it. So do like sort of like a vulnerability management, build a vulnerability management sort of system or monitoring system, and how to say it properly, to understand. So be vigilant on those sort of places, and obviously having sort of an alert. So, because also there could be sort of curves, because ransomware or like threat groups, they don't work 24/7. So they can, for example, their TTPs could be that they work at a certain time of year, for example, or a certain time of the day, for example. Like if you understand that they're from, I don't know, the other side of the world, well, most likely they will work during their daytime or maybe nighttime. It could be different as well. So
no, that's absolutely spot on. So essentially, to summarize, you're basically talking about exposure management, right? So you recognize the threat that is likely to impact CBA. What sort of ransomware groups or threat actors are likely to impact the financial services organization? And then based on that data, you then go, all right, what is the TTP? And this is where the MATA framework really comes in, right? And this is what I was saying to you guys yesterday. Sorry, the other day, and I keep saying this. Never learn anything in cybersecurity as just a framework. It has to be applied. It has to be applicable knowledge. So why is the MATA attack framework useful? This is an example of why it's useful. Because now you can look at a particular threat group that is relevant to CBA and then go, this particular threat group is known for financial services attacks, and they've also been seen attacking other financial services in Australia, which means it's only a matter of time. So what can I do as a cyber defender? Well, I'll go research that that threat group's TTPs, how they attack, what sort of tools they use, their methods and methodologies, and then perhaps, like you said, if the threat actor is known to use phishing link, then you can then actually get your organization to start thinking of measures to prevent against a cyber attack from that particular threat group. This could be things like end user behavior awareness, showing people how to detect typo squatting, phishing link, do not put your password in weird places, making sure you guys have MFAs in place. Can you guys see how this is basically putting measures in place to ensure that ransomware never happens in the first place? Because that's ultimately what you can do. So yeah, that's really what it comes down to. Miss, do you want to add anything to that?
TTP, I was just reading about TTP.
Yeah.
So it's like the tactics, techniques, and procedures.
Yes.
Right. So I always wanted to read more about like MITRE framework because I've been hearing that term a lot lately.
Yeah. Don't worry. There's a lot of good information for you on the learning management platform on the academy, so you're gonna enjoy it. So think of it this way: every single threat actor, because remember this, at the end of the day, they're humans, and humans are creatures of habit. So every single threat actor has something that they're known for. So that's what that TTP basically is referring to. So you need to understand, and so many people have poured in so many hours. Like the MATA framework is actually, a non-for-profit organization that is funded by the U.S. Federal Reserve, federal government. And what they do is they basically go and exactly what we're talking about right now, find out what threat actors exist, and then find out based on the things they've done in the past, how they attack organizations.
The pattern.
Yep, and the patterns, right? That's what those things are. And then even what tools do they use, which is where the procedure comes in. How do they go, did they send a phishing link first and then execute a malware, or did they go and exploit vulnerability? So all of those nitty-gritty information actually empowers you as a cyber defender to be able to defend against known and unknown threat. Because remember this is why the pyramid of pain by David Bianco, and I know Miss By, that's probably the first time you're hearing that. Like Alex pointed out, the hardest thing for a threat actor to change is the TTP, because they can't change. Like humans are really hard. They find it hard to change their behavior. And also, if you've spent 2 years writing a piece of malware, it's not that easy to just change it to a new one. But you can change an IP address easily because you just buy a new domain. Like it takes less than 5 minutes these days. So this is why it's important to obviously start thinking about, broadly, how do you as a cyber defender, because your job, like you don't make business decisions as a cyber defender. Your job is to actually make technical decisions. And that's where you can proactively go again. And this is something you guys need to highlight when you're in the job interview. It's really important to actually understand the attack queue chain. When someone asks you a question, you need to obviously come back to this is how I would approach this to ensure that I'm obviously directly correlating to the business need to prevent risk. So it's really essential. Anyways, we've spent quite a lot of time on this. I'm actually keen for us to get our hands dirty today. Look, Mr. Awesome, Mr. Nathan, are you ready for us to jump on the workshop?
Potentially.
By the way, we've gone over by 8 minutes. Is everyone happy to stay around?
If you're not, it is recorded. So
By the way, about the MITRE attack framework, just for who's new, there's an episode we did, episode from Sammy, like from 2-3 weeks ago. So
Looking forward to watch that.
Yeah.
was there some good cringe in that?
Guys, you have to be
I
kind
hope
to
it was.
me. You have to be kind to me.
I'm advertising you,
It's gonna be
Sammy.
good, it's
I'm
knowledge.
advertising.
You have to be kind to
Like and
me.
subscribe.
This is
Yeah.
what makes being around you fun, mate.
The cringiness. Does anyone else not think that NerdKnight is awesome name? Like, it's a great name. Like, seriously, it's just the best name out there. Like, it's NerdKnight. Like, it's time for fun. Like, see how much fun we're having, guys. And
Do
this
nerds actually have fun?
Sorry?
Wow.
Yes, they do.
Yeah, some
Something.
cyber meetups just give boring talks and they don't actually.
Because nerds
Yeah.
are like sitting there.
Nah, they do, and we're all nerds in our own right. So welcome on board, everyone. So if you guys are happy to hang in, we're gonna continue on that journey of setting up our Python programming lab environment. For anyone who hasn't done this before, not to worry. There's also a recorded session on the academy for this. That's going to be uploaded, so it gives you an opportunity to do this all over again. But if you guys want to do that next week, we can skip the threat landscape next week and focus on that, because we also need to start talking about regex 101 as well, introducing you guys to regular expression. So there's a lot of fun content packed for next week. And by the way, for anyone watching this later, put a vote in the Discord server if you think NerdKnight is the best name you've ever heard for our night catch-ups.
And if you don't like it, you need to put an idea. There's no
Yeah.
other options. You can't just like, I don't like it.
100%. That's semi guy. Yeah, that's it. Absolutely. I like that idea. Like,
Productive criticism.
productive criticism, always.
Yep.
Now, does anyone else, do you guys want to hang around? We can spend maybe another 30 minutes just going through a quick setup of Discord. Let's just do Discord account setup for the first time. So Nathan, are you able to take us through creating a Discord account for the first time? Sorry, not Discord, my bad. I meant GitHub.
Oh,
Discord
right.
account.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, that's interesting.
Just get off my back, Alex. Get off my back. Guys, this is why NerdKnight is so fun, right? This is why it's cool. It's uncut. It's not one of those ones where people are perfect. No one is perfect here. We're all learning. All right, I think everyone is ready. So
Yep.
Nathan, over to you, mate. I'll look after the queue.
So let's see. Oh, actually, that's actually a good question. I actually wasn't even watching.
It's been too fun, huh?
I should check quickly.
It's all right.
By the way,
I'll take care of that. So you do this.
Did you have a question, Alex?
yeah, by the way, to look absolutely nerdish, all of us need glasses. Either we need them or not. We all need glasses, so we can do this sort of sit there like, and the bigger they are, nerdy and thicker they look, and so yeah.
Oh jeez.
Message received. Message received.
There you go.
Oh no.
I don't have glasses, unfortunately, but
Oh, but do you have sunglasses at least?
I have. Yeah, I can put them on, but that's good. That's interesting actually. But they don't look nerdy, to be honest. They look too cool.
Oh jeez, this is funny.
Oh wow.
Steven is probably going, I don't want eye problem. Oh jeez.
I have my glasses out.
Yeah, right.
It's just
Put,
far away from me.
put it out. By the way, guys, this is not just for fun. I wish it was. Oh jeez, it's funny.
Okay, so I dropped a command in the chat, so you guys can install some tools just quickly. One of the ones you're going to need installed is Git, which when my when my VM stops freezing, I can actually show that. Why aren't you copying? All right, I'm just going to go to the chat and just get it myself.
So you put in here IWR use dash USB. Is that commands?
Yep, that's actually the command. That whole message is the command itself.
Okay. So is it one line?
Yep.
Okay.
It is one line. Oh, what? Come on, stop freezing. Everything
Cool,
was
Alex.
perfectly
It
until
put
I
it
decided
off.
to share my screen. So to run this, all you need to do is just open up an admin PowerShell prompt, paste in your command, which for some reason it didn't actually copy for me. So now I have to go back here and do it. Paste in your wonderful command. So this will bring up this interesting looking UI, and I'm using this instead of going to the actual download page of each tool because, you know, there's going to be like a lot of questions you're going to be asked and whatever, and it's kind of just easier just to walk you guys through having it all installed without having being asked any of those questions. So if you want to install Git, you just have to search for Git, press the check mark box or whatever, and you just press install/upgrade. And the progress of the installation you'll see in the actual PowerShell window here. So that is installed for me. Optionally, you can either get, am I spelling it wrong? Is it VS Code? Okay. So there is a fancy text editor you can get called VS Code here, or you can get PyCharm, which
I think we should go with VS Code for this because we're going to need that for other labs as well.
Yep. So if you just want to get VS Code right here, and then you'll pretty much be all good after that. So, actually, I should probably give people time to do it before just moving on without saying anything.
So everyone, just give a thumbs up once you've installed Git on your computer using the Windows deploy.
That's a VM, right? Because that's what I remember from last week, that it should be a VM.
No. So do it on your local computer.
So I'm using a VM for you guys because I actually run I use Linux for my day-to-day work.
Yeah.
So, but in most situations, you're probably going to be using these tools on Windows in your organization that you're working in. So that's why I'm doing it in a VM.
So because I remember there was, maybe it was my memory it's my memory or something, but we were told to use a VM just because if we mess up something with the operating system, we can just reinstall it instead of using our main system. Something happens, we just Is it that, or? That is
something I said, but that was more of a suggestion rather than you must do this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because my thought was that we consolidated that we were going to do all the programming things in a VM instead of doing it on our real computers. But is that it, or I'm?
Nah, you can do it on.
Even my understanding was like that. Just yes, what Alex was saying the same.
Yeah, I actually think it. But hey, Paul, welcome to the party. Jeez, man, you missed a lot.
No, I'm here, man. Since the start, I was quiet.
You were here since the start?
I don't think you noticed when he jumped in. He's been here for a while.
I'm here since the start of the meeting, man.
And you allowed Alex to have all that go at me. You didn't even defend me? Like
No, I
I
was
was at the
enjoying, man. I was enjoying.
at the back of my mind, I
I
was
was
going,
having
if
fun.
Paul was here, he would have defended me. But apparently you are colluding and
No, I was just seeing Alex is like a Russian mafia. Look at his glasses, man.
oh
Oh,
jeez,
Vladimir.
it's Vladimir's
oh
best
yeah,
mate.
he's got those glasses, and I see them now.
Vladimir.
You
I've only got
don't mess with me. It's gonna be very, very,
Oh, that's
very.
good. That's actually
bad.
good. That's actually
uh,
good. All right, let's
well,
move on.
if yep, all right. So I guess going back to GitHub, does everyone know what GitHub is?
Yeah,
I
sorry,
actually
man.
don't
I
know.
just want to. So we are sticking with the local computer now.
I think you can do either
If
one, to be honest. Like,
if you want to use
Yeah.
a VM,
yeah.
go ahead. If you want to use your actual host,
Okay.
go for it.
No worries.
Sorry, I missed that part. You just ran the command on your PowerShell, right? And
All you have to do is open up PowerShell here. It says admin, so you
okay,
run it as an admin shell
okay,
because it requires admin privileges.
okay.
And I'm actually trying to go back to the last command I entered, and it's not letting me do that. So let's put this in full screen so I'm not going to get confused with my host and my VM at the same time. Yep, so I've got my command there. So you just run this, and it'll bring up that UI that I showed before. Things are moving slow. It looks like just because I decided to maximize the window. This only seems to happen when I start sharing my screen. When I'm not sharing my screen, everything is fast.
Maybe because resources or something. Maybe the screen sharing takes resources, or
Yeah, potentially.
Oh, it's because you've got a dodgy old laptop.
that's why it's using Linux in the first place. Because Windows it's not compatible with the laptop.
It could be that, but then I also remembered that last week when I tried having the GitHub page open, the login screen is really slow for some reason. So, gosh, yeah, it is actually really slow. So I'm just going to have to quickly log in and hope that it stops with the terrible slowness. Gosh, come on. let me press the button.
By the way, Nathan,
Run the command.
Yeah. Go on.
so
Command, and this is what I see.
okay, it's irrelevant. So let's
Yeah, Misbah, your one is working, so you need to find Git from the list. So Nathan, do you want to go back to the Windows Bloat screen?
Yep.
That's Git. So tick that in development.
Yes. So I tick Git, and then at the very top.
Install.
Yep, there you go. That's the one. And then we also want to
Just going to stop sharing for a moment, just so I can work out what on earth is sucking up all my resources.
A million tabs on your browser, probably.
That's your problem.
Misbah, also you want to install Visual Studio Code as well.
It's my problem as well. I like a lot of tabs. I just can't help myself. Both computers, by the way.
Sorry, VS Code and what else? I got.
VS Code and
Git.
Okay, yeah.
VS Code and Git.
The reason I'm clicking install, it's not working.
You want to share your screen, Misbah?
Oh, here it is, VS Code.
Misbah, try sharing your screen. Oh, right. I remembered you're not on
Yeah.
your computer.
Try it again.
Let me see if I can spotlight for everyone. So have you selected? So you need to select Git. Yeah, you've also selected the other one.
Git is selected.
What
and
about Visual Studio Code?
VS Code is also selected.
Yep.
Yep. Here. And when I click on installs, oh,
So that should. Are you sure you open PowerShell with administrative privileges?
yeah, it says on the top admin in the bracket.
Okay.
You want me to try again?
Yeah. There was another option aside from install. There was another option there for.
No, actually, what you have to do, Mispa, you need to install the, come down. There's another tab, install upgrade selected.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was trying to say. So yeah,
Oh.
there you
That's
go.
the one you need to do that.
Yeah.
Click that one.
Click that one.
It should install, yes.
Oh, I see here. Install Microsoft Fusion Studio.
Yeah, it's installing. It's in the progress. Once it says.
Yes, you need to go to the PowerShell window. That's what happened with me. I was like, oh, where's the installation thing? Then, but
Yeah, it's already installed in the background. Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
Cool.
So I think it gave me that error that it's installing. It's running in the background. Looks good now. Yep.
Pushkar, how you going?
Yeah, I'm going good because I have had experience with Git, so.
Oh, cool.
Oh, that's good.
So what about you do have a GitHub account or you want to create a new one just for testing sake?
No, I have one and I have VS Code installed, so.
Nice.
Yeah, so I have already I have Git set up on my system already.
Master, please teach us. Teach us, Master.
Excellent.
I would like to ask the GitHub. Can you just share your screen? Let me see the particular GitHub because I saw different type. Is it GitHub or Git or something?
Git.
Yeah.
So what you're installing is Git.
Git is the tool that you're installing. GitHub is the platform you're storing your projects on.
Okay.
Yep. Correct.
So once, because it says here installs have finished. So what happens next? Or I'm running a little bit ahead.
So when the installer finishes, that's it. So if you've installed everything you need, you can just close it.
Yeah, so I installed, just wanted to verify, I installed Git and VS Code.
Yep.
That's it. Okay.
That's it.
2, 1, 2.
No problemo.
Did they take up too much space, by the way? Just curious.
No. So I went back to my VM settings and realized that I'd only allocated 4 gig of RAM, so I upped that to 8, and I gave it a few more cores.
This guy has some tech, some hardware. He's got some hardware.
He was greedy with his poor VM. VM was trying to its best with all it's been given.
Did anybody also ask this?
Oh, okay, you poor thing, you poor Windows machine. Take some more, a little bit more.
Did anybody also have the same issue installing Ubuntu? I realize Ubuntu uses a lot of the resources on the system.
Well, because of the UI, the graphical user interface, right? So if you were installing Ubuntu Core, it probably would not need more than 1 gig of RAM. You could run Ubuntu Core for 500 megabit of, because that's how you can install Linux on Raspberry Pis. Because the core is actually pretty good. It doesn't take a lot of RAM. It's the graphical user interface that just chews RAM because of all the
Yep, absolutely.
The problem with the thing with Ubuntu and my other machine was that it was if you know for some reason it was flickering, like the desktop and everything was flickering. Right, once I gave it video memory like much more than that, it stopped. So that
Interesting.
even though it's a Linux machine, but it required a lot of video memory, which was really weird. You didn't never had issues like that with Windows. Just install it and no issues. But yeah.
Did you have certain visual effects enabled? Because I think there are certain visual effects that Linux systems have that Windows doesn't, that requires like 3D acceleration. And if you don't enable that,
nothing.
You get
It
weird
was a
issues.
Ubuntu machine that I installed just for Try Hack Me Room. That's it. I didn't do anything on it. Just installed, had the OpenVPN file, and that's it. And I never touched it since. But then this week I got into it again and started flickering. But once I gave video memory, it stopped flicking. I don't know why. It was weird.
That's very interesting.
Same thing here. It happened to me as well. I had to like, I was trying to manage the resources of my system because I mostly hibernate my system. I don't turn it off. So after a long while, I had to restart my system.
Excellent. So where's everyone up to?
So what's happening? Because I had it installed. So should I go to GitHub now or?
Yep. So after you've installed everything, go to GitHub.
Yep.
Pretty much create an account. For whatever reason, I can't show the login page, otherwise everything's going to freeze again.
Oh, come on. We want the login page. We want the juicy things.
You want to see Nathan's password.
Yep, you want to see my passwords. Well, so go and make an account with the sign up button and just enter your details in the form. And I'll wait like a minute for you guys to do that, and then I'll continue.
Yeah, because I created the account last week, so that's all done. But that's it. So I just got to the screen that you showed us last week.
Home,
the home screen, start a new repository, and etc. So I didn't do anything from there since. So.
Okay. Where's everyone else?
Just creating the account now.
Okay. Yep. No
Make
problem.
sure you save your password.
Yeah, I've already created my account a while ago, I think a couple of months ago. I haven't done anything, just created and left it like that.
That's all right.
No problem, mate.
Another question. Sorry, today I missed the questions.
Yeah, go for it.
So
questions are good, Alex. Never apologize for asking questions, mate.
Well, I can get annoying with my questions sometimes.
Oh, don't worry, mate. You can send me all your questions on Discord if you want. Go for it.
No worries. So question is, the things that we're going to do right now or in the future, can we use them from on different computers, or it's going to be bound to this computer specifically? Because like I mentioned before, I have a second computer. It's more like this one is a laptop with an external screen. That the other one is just the big brother of this one. And yeah, just I don't know. I do all my work for CyberLynk and everything there. So is it possible for me to use both, or?
Yeah, you can use both. No problem.
Okay, fair enough.
It's just like logging in from another computer. It uses the same interface as long as you have the same tools or whatever. It doesn't really matter.
Because I remember you said that because we're going to work with GitHub specifically, right? So, or we're going to work with. Okay.
So it actually depends on your organization. So there's other platforms like GitHub, like GitLab, Bitbucket. There's a few others I can't think of, but they all use the same underlying technology. So if you learn how to use Git, you can actually use all of those other platforms with no issues. It's all the same.
Okay, so we're going to use GitHub specifically. I'm not saying about other platforms, just asking about now. So that's why I can, for example, log into GitHub from my other computer and just continue my work or whatever we're going to do. Is that correct? Or
Yep.
Okay, but what about the IDEs? So, for example, PyCharm or something.
You can use whatever IDE you want.
So I understand, but
okay.
how am I going to, for example, if I have something, so are we going to save anything in PyCharm, or everything we do in PyCharm, we move it's going to be moved straight away into GitHub, so I jump in my other computer and I can do whatever there as well.
So if you've uploaded it, or you've pushed it into GitHub, then you can clone that repository and have the same code that you pushed on GitHub on your other computer.
Yeah, okay. But the only thing on my other computer, I'll need to do the same thing, right? So install Git and VS Code and install PyCharm, right?
So PyCharm and VS Code are just over-glorified text editors.
Yeah.
So you don't even necessarily need to install Visual Studio Code or any of these other fancy text editors. It just makes it, more usable, I suppose, and nicer to look at. Otherwise, you'll just be like, editing text and your files and everything in Notepad, which, everything is colored the same, and it can become. How would you say everything in coding languages is coded a certain way, so you can know exactly what it is without having to actually know what it is you're looking at. I don't know if that makes any sense. That probably doesn't make any sense.
Like, I had a similar problem when I had a shitty laptop. So, for example, if you're working on any easy text editor, like for example, even Sublime Text, which is very easy and which is does not take much resources. So there's a tool called Git Bash. So you can simply go to Windows Store and download Git Bash if you want, and then you can simply use whatever text editor you have on the system and use Git Bash for getting the code on a local system or pushing it to your repository.
Yep. So Git Bash is pretty much the Windows version of Bash in Linux. So it's just like another command line utility that works kind of like a Unix kind of command line.
Nathan, just out of curiosity as well, what Linux do you use as? What's the Linux do you have, like the distro on your computer?
So I'm using Ubuntu on my main computer, just because it has the best support for in terms of drivers.
Yeah.
Other distros I've had issues with. Like, I originally wanted to use Debian, but strangely, it doesn't do all that well in terms of drivers, and there's a lot of stuff that I have to fiddle around with that I would, kind of prefer not doing. So I just went to Ubuntu so that I could, just start using my system straight away without having to do major modifications and whatever, and spend hours troubleshooting something that I would rather really spend my time elsewhere doing.
Yeah, and having a huge community around it as well, so you can get answers and solutions easily.
Yep, absolutely.
Because there's the huge community just knows Ubuntu from from top to bottom, from right to left. So just
Absolutely. Hopefully everyone's created a GitHub account now. So if you go to your profile icon, you go to your repositories.
So that's on the right.
Yep, on the right.
Repositories. Yep.
Yep. So if you go to your repositories, and then you go to new, go ahead and give your repo a name. I'm going to set this to private because in most cases, when you work for an organization, you're going to work with the repo that's private.
Yep.
And when it comes to the git ignore file, just use Python. And for the license, I normally just stick to MIT because it has protections in that particular license. Like let's say someone decides to take your piece of software or something, and then they use it in a breach. Someone can't come back
Misbah,
and
we're
sue
getting back.
you or
Misbah,
whatever.
we're getting the feedback from your laptop.
Yeah.
Sorry about the technical.
Oh, take your time.
Nathan is echoing. We have two Nathans now
It's
speaking.
making me have to hear that voice twice. Jeez.
So I'm in and I'm on that page as well.
Yep. Cool.
So Nathan, fire on, mate.
All right. So I'm going to go create repository.
So that correct. Okay.
Oh, I just noticed that I spelled it wrong.
I thought you did it intentionally. Actually, I thought like that's your sort of naming convention.
That's funny.
Like, okay. Hang on.
I didn't see that. That's
No,
funny.
it's
Okay.
definitely intentional.
So
Yeah.
Are we creating an example repo like this, same name?
So no. You can name it whatever you want. I just accidentally added a typo to this, which
Which makes it unique now. It's actually
which makes it very unique.
Clash with
Now,
my example.
So yeah, Misbah, you can call it whatever name you want. You know, Girl Boss. You know, Cyber Ninja, Nerd Knight.
Night. Mm-hmm.
Well, don't call it Nerd Knight because that's CyberLynk name. But yeah.
Nerd Ninja.
Yeah, there you go.
Nerd Ninja. I like it.
Yeah,
I have a
juicy
question
potato.
about that, Sammy. By the way, but maybe not now. For a later time.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you send it to me on Discord then.
I don't know. It was a question for Sammy because he had cyber ninjas and cyber knights. Is that actually the same thing or not?
The session we have
just
today, this ongoing weekly session is Nerd Night.
Yeah.
So that's what we're having now. Cyber Ninja is what the program that you guys have signed up to.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Because I've seen something like Cyber Knight or something. Is that just the same thing? Is just we're named differently?
Where have you seen Cyber Knight? It should be Nerd Night.
Knight. I mean knight. The knight. The medieval knight, not knight. Not with the K. Not.
Yeah, Night with a K. Yeah. So that's what this night is. So this is Cyber Nerd Night.
Okay.
Sorry guys. Sorry Sammy. I got to jump off.
Yeah.
I'll watch the video.
No problem.
All good. I think that's pretty much it for today. We just wanted to set up the account and just to avoid this being very long. So Paul, have you set up your GitHub? Did you create a sample repository?
No, not yet. I will do it later, and I got to jump off because my little ones are troubling, so I just have to put them back.
Yeah, all good, mate. Cheers. Now, thank you very much for jumping in.
All right.
As usual, the video will be uploaded. Now,
Yeah.
I've got one of our content creators working on editing some of these videos to break them down into multiple sessions because an hour and a half long video is quite long. So we'll break them down into different subsessions. Like, you know, when we talked about the threat landscape, that's a completely different session on its own. And then this could be in a session that will be fed into the online lab as well.
Awesome, man.
As always, feedbacks are really, really essential. So send them through and we can work together to gain an edge.
Absolutely.
Thank you, guys. Have a good
night.
one.
Cheers.
Thanks, Paul.
See
Have a good one. Cheers.
Nice to see you all, and talk soon.
Mate.
Cheers, mate. See ya.
Yeah. Thanks. Bye.
So I'm at the same screen, but I just don't have. It says add a README because you have eample_repo.
Yeah.
I just have add a README, but is that the same thing or not really?
You will want to have a README.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep. So check the box to add a README.
It's a green box, so it's like a button. So
yeah, just press the button.
yep, done.
Yeah, Nathan, can you please explain to us why a README markdown is important, and what does that MD mean in the first place?
So the MD is a file extension. I actually don't know what the MD stands for. Oh,
Markdown.
Actually, I just worked it out. Markdown. Yeah, okay. So the README pretty much explains, or it gives you a file that can be presented on your repo to pretty much explain what your project is about. And so websites use a programming syntax. It's not really a programming language, but it's like a kind of language that you can use to structure the page and actually show how you want things to be presented. So a README file with the .md extension uses what we call the Markdown language, and it's similar to HTML, but it's more simplified. And I'm actually going to go into what that is all about. But first, I was going to have everyone actually clone the repo first and stick it on their desktop so we can actually start editing it in VS Code. So if we want to, if we actually want to authenticate with Git, first we need to go and make a session token, or not a session token, but we have to go and make a I can't remember what it's called. It's a personal access token. That's what it is. I should actually probably tell people how to get there too. So if you go to the top, your profile icon, you go to settings, scroll down to developer settings, choose the personal access tokens drop down, and you go to tokens and in brackets classic, generate token, generate new token with the classic in brackets. All you need to do is give your personal access token a name, set how long you want it to be valid for before it actually expires. And all you do is you pretty much set your permissions that the token should have. So if you just check this this box here where it says repo, you can give yourself full control to the repo, so you can read it, you can write to it, you can make changes to whatever. And a lot of these other permissions and whatever that you can give to your access token have to do with making changes by the API. So that might actually involve writing a script that can talk to GitHub, where you can make like a project or something through your script, where you could tell GitHub, oh yeah, can you make this new repository with this name, automatically add a README file and a git ignore and do all these other fancy things for me. And to do that, you'll need to set up these permissions to do that. But at the moment, all we want to worry about is just these.
Sorry, Nathan, I'm a little bit missed out. So
yeah,
I did the README thing, so I just have written down some stuff in there. So I missed out the part with the token part. Like, what's that for?
So that's so you can authenticate. So to download to clone the repository onto your host system, you pretty much have to tell Git who you are. So because your repository is private, you can't just clone it like that. You have to tell GitHub who you are.
Yeah.
So that's all this is for.
So how do we? So where should I go again? So I go to the.
So go to your profile here.
Yep.
And then go to settings.
Settings.
Developer settings.
Oh, on developer settings. Yep.
Yep. Personal access tokens, and then
tokens classic.
Tokens classic.
Yep.
And then you need to click tokens classic again under generate new token.
Oh. Yeah.
Give it a name, set the
Oh,
expiry.
it's asking for my password again. Okay.
Ah, yeah, okay, it will do that.
It's all done. Okay, and we just put in the token and everything. Okay.
Yep, so you just put in a note or give it a name or something like that, set your expiration, click the repo checkbox to set your permissions to full control. And you see on the side here, this actually gives you a description of what it does.
Mm-hmm.
And all you do is you come down, generate token. So you'll get this value that'll be generated here. Make sure that you actually save this in your password manager or something like that, because you won't be able to view this screen again. So I'm just going to copy this to a text file. And now, if we go back to our repository, under your repositories, and I go to my ample repo, all you want to do is you click the code button here. There's like a drop down, and you copy the repository to the clipboard. Let me know how far you are in doing that.
I've generated the token, but my page looks a bit different.
Does it?
Yeah, it says code issues everything. It also shows me the name, but underneath that it doesn't show me that main and branch.
Do you mind sharing your screen?
That's the thing. I've joined on this laptop, but it's gonna be a bit tricky, but I'll try.
That's all right.
Okay.
I mean, you might not see the same thing as me because oh, okay.
You're not gonna.
Ah, yeah, that's fine.
Have you noticed?
Yeah, so that's yeah. So what you did to do that was you went to the profile here, and if you go and make the repository here,
Yeah.
you get a different set of instructions. So what it's pretty much telling you to do is how to connect your the repo that you've created from Git, and it's generated some instructions and whatever that you can type in into the command line to pretty much add stuff into your repository. But I did it a little bit of a different way because it's kind of more straightforward, and there's less to do. You can do it this way, and I could actually probably show both ways.
Okay.
But
do you prefer me making it your way, or do you want me to continue?
you can continue. I don't mind.
Just for simplicity, Ms. Back, can you, because obviously we're going to be using this same lab going forward, can you delete that report and go, or just leave it, go create another one using the way that Nathan has just shown, just so you don't get lost along the way.
Okay.
Yep, I can do that. So start a new repository, and I'm putting a name.
If you go to your profile, you go to your repositories instead of what's on the home page here.
Oh, your.
And you go to new.
Okay.
Now you can actually add that README file and that git ignore and the license.
So now I can give it the name and then private. Okay.
Yep.
By the way, can we actually rename the repositories, or no, are they carved in stone?
Oh no, you can rename them.
And then anything else? Add a README or anything?
So add a README.
Yep.
Add the .gitignore and set that to Python. And set the license to MIT.
Okay, done. And then just create.
Yep, that's right.
Cool. Okay, done.
And you're right, Alex, you can actually change it. So if you go into your actual repo, there's settings here.
No settings, yeah.
And then we have that place where I could fix that typo.
No, please. Just leave it as it is. Come on. It looks so cool.
It's so cool. Wow, okay.
Yeah, it was nice. Come on. Unique.
Unique. Yep, I like it. Even if I do change it, the readme's not going to change unless I fix that too.
Yeah, that's true. Because I know a lady that actually made a Facebook account and made a typo in her name, but now she left it as it is just because it's her name is unique. So whoever searches her up uses that specific naming, and there's no one else like that. She's one and only. So
what an error you made. It's an error that lives with you forever.
Yes.
So now that I've created the new repo, do you want me to go and create a personal access token as well, new one, or
have you already made the personal access token?
Yes, as part of the other.
Okay. Yep. So if you've written it down, you don't need to make another one.
Okay, cool. I've got the token.
Yep. So once you come into your repo here, all you do is click the code drop down, and you just copy this to the clipboard, the HTTPS repo link.
So that HTTPS link, what's it used for?
I'll show you in a second.
Yeah, okay, easy. Sorry.
Yep, no problem. So after you've done that, go to any place on your desktop or any place that you want to store your projects. I'm just going to stick this on the desktop. I'm just going to make this folder called projects. And if you click where the path is in Explorer and you just type CMD, this will bring up a CMD window up in where the projects directory is that I've created. And so before we authenticate, we actually have to tell Git what our username and what our email is that to actually go with the token. So all we do is we type git config, and I'm going to add a flag here, -- global, so that I don't have to do this again for every project or every sub repository that I put in this list of directories. So if I say git config -- global and I say user.name, my name is the legendary lobster.
So I fell back a little bit. So I just open that spot, whatever it is. Like I created a separate file. Then I open it in terminal, right? In terminal or in Git GUI or whatever? No.
You can open it up in
terminal. Okay.
Yeah, you can open it up in terminal. You can open it up PowerShell. You can open it up CMD. Whatever works for you.
Yeah. Okay.
So just to clarify, can you hear me?
We hear you, Sammy.
Oh, right. So just to clarify as well, what we're trying to do here is to enable the authentication between GitHub and your local computer. So, and to do that, it's always a good practice when you run into, start a new project to put it in a folder so that you don't have your files everywhere. So it's just a lot easier and a lot cleaner and a better programming practice to have files stored in a centralized location. So that's why Nathan has asked you to create a folder. Now you can name that folder, CyberLynk coding project or CyberLynk project, whatever name you want to give it, and then open that folder that you've just created. Now, like you said, Alex, you can use make_dir. You guys have already learned how to use the command line to create directories. You can create a directory using make_dir, or you can literally just right-click and create it directly from the UI. And then once you've done that, if you've done it from the UI, you can literally just go to the search bar or the directory path on Windows, like Nathan demonstrated, and then just highlight that and then type CMD, and that would open up a CMD version of that. Alternatively, you can literally just use CD from the command line to go to the place where your directory is stored, and then go in there. Once you get there, now for anyone watching this later, the prerequisite to be able to run the git command is that you must have created installed git already. So that's really important to remember that that was the previous exercise we did.
Absolutely.
Quick one. Where did you paste that token again?
So I've pasted it in a text file here.
Yep. And then in that GitHub page.
Yep.
Where did it go?
So I mentioned before that because when you're working in an organization, you're not actually going to be able to view that page again.
Yeah.
So you have to actually copy the token somewhere and store it somewhere safe. Because if someone accesses your token,
yep,
they can use it to access all of your repositories and all of your files and potentially steal your code, which, yeah, it
needs to be stored in a locked like password manager somewhere.
Yep.
But at the moment, do we have to add that token anywhere in GitHub?
So we have to do this configuration first before we can do that.
Okay, cool. So my username would be obviously the GitHub username, right? And that name after that, the Legendary Lobster. What is that?
Legendary Lobster is my username.
Oh.
Your username is going to be something different. So let's see. You can see my username up in the profile icon here.
Yeah. I thought where you mentioned user.name is where we put our username, but that's not it. You put it next to user.name. Okay, got it.
So that user.name, Misbah, is the variable that is being referenced.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a variable that basically saying,
next one is
yep.
Yep. Got it. Cool.
And then the legendary lobster, I can't believe I'm saying that. that is the value of the variable. So in Python, it's actually called an argument. And Nathan is going to obviously teach this as we go through. Through again, this is the first step. There's a lot more to learn.
Yep.
And I want to make sure that you guys are not just copying code and typing in and just not. I want you to think about this again. For anyone watching this later, like I always say, it's not about the destination. It's about the journey. So the journey is so important. Understanding what is happening, asking questions. Why did we do this? Why did we do that? So that you have a very strong and solid understanding of what's going on. The reason why that's important is you should be able to do this on your own without anyone being there. So there's going to be actually be an exercise on you creating your GitHub account and linking this together in the academy. So you're going to have to take a screenshot of that stuff, which means you're going to have to tear all of your labs down and do it all over again yourself. So it's important that you actually pay attention and that you're learning and you ask any questions that you have. Sorry, Nathan,
no
keep
problem,
going. Very mindful of the time. It's 11 p.m. So
I'm just waiting for everyone else to get to this point.
I'm actually quite happy for us to stop here, and then because I know there's a few other Nathan, there's a concept that you want to talk about, which is the environment variable. So can we pick this up later?
I actually did that last week, but I can do it again.
Yeah.
And just press enter after this, right? Nothing else?
Yep.
Cool.
Yep. So if you press enter and let's say, you want to check if that environment variable is, or not environment variable, if that value is actually being stored, you just have to type user.name, enter, and then it will
should display the username. Okay, yeah, it's displaying now.
Yep.
I hope people are taking note. Yeah, so I want us to finish up. Is everyone taking note? Has everyone taken note so far? The commands you've run and what they do.
Simon, please. The video, will it be shared? Because I got lost a bit. I didn't attend the last class. So the video be shared?
Yeah,
before the video.
Yeah, so this video, the one for NerdKnight last week has also been uploaded to YouTube. This one will also be uploaded to YouTube by Monday. I'll try to do it tonight, but if I don't, it'll be ready by tomorrow, latest Monday.
I would need especially the last part, the GitHub setup.
Yeah, cool.
No problem, mate.
And also, Nathan, if I have any issue, do you mind if I discuss that with you, maybe on Discord or through any other means?
Yeah, no problem. Send me a message.
Obviously, I would recommend if there's a question that you've got, I'm trying to help everyone, unless it's something obviously that's private and you want to have a chat with Nathan about, reach out to him directly. But let's obviously value Nathan's time. He's a mentor. We want to make sure we value his time. So if there's a question about any of the labs that you have, please use the channel, the lab assistant channel, and someone will be able to answer your question there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is it possible to do this command in PowerShell? Because for some reason it's opening up PowerShell for me all the time.
Let's try. PowerShell.
Because if you type pwsh or something, it should open in PowerShell.
So desktop, git config. Let's try user.name. Yep. Works for me. What does it do for you?
Okay, so I put in git config dash global user.name, my username, and I didn't get the okay, I just typed and that's it. So what happens next? Okay.
You press enter. It won't give you any sort of output, and that's actually what you want.
Yeah, okay.
So after we do that, we just type in email. So now you type out your email. My email is nathankernel@cyberlynk.io. No output. That's what we want. And
what email do we put in here? Just a normal email we use?
So the email that you used to create your GitHub account.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
You gonna say, Sammy?
Yeah, that you're absolutely correct. So all good.
Okay. Yep. So after you've done that, all you do is git clone, and right, I forgot. So I want to copy this repo. I want to paste this in the command line, but where the dash is in GitHub, I want to add the @ sign like you get in an email, and I'm just going to add my username again. So legendary lobster.
This is like pointing directly to our personal repository. Is that what we're doing?
Yep. So this is what you're doing is you're authenticating to GitHub using your username. You can enter in your token, but for security reasons, I advise not to do that because the commands that you enter in CMD are actually recorded in a file, and anyone can actually read that file. So what you can do is just specify your username like I've done with the @ symbol before GitHub. And if I press enter, you should get a authentication failed, did it? Invalid username and password. What have I done? There you go. So for whatever reason, it didn't like what I typed in at that time. It actually works now. I didn't do anything. So if that command successfully runs, you just get this UI window that pops up.
Mm-hmm.
And you get two tabs here. You can either sign in using your browser, but what we want to do is click token here and just paste in that token we generated. So all I do here is click sign in, and yeah, it will clone the repository, and hopefully all of you guys have reached that point with no issues.
Yep. So I cloned it. So I put in the token, clicked on clone, and yeah. Oh, sign in. Sorry. Yeah.
Yep.
That's where I'm at.
Yep. So now I can see the repository is here. So now if we open up VS Code, you'll see something pretty plain like this. All we go to is File, Open Folder, and we just go to that directory that we've stored our project, our repository. Select folder, click yes in the prompt. Yes, I trust the authors. And now you can see we have our README file here. I'll just wait until everyone gets to this point.
So that's VS Code, right?
Yep, VS Code. So when you search for it in Windows, it's probably going to be named via Visual Studio Code.
Yep.
In the industry, for short, everyone calls it VS Code.
Yeah.
Question.
Yeah, go for it.
I got the error unable to access SSL certificate problem, unable to get local issuer certificate error. I'm running Cisco Umbrella.
Yeah, Cisco Umbrella is definitely basically it's decrypting. So we've seen this. Nathan and I have seen this before. So Cisco Umbrella is obviously doing some proxy. It's basically decrypting your packet. Yeah, and that's why it's not trusting the certificate. So can you disable Cisco Umbrella, or can you not do that?
I can do that, but it will trigger an alert.
Oh yeah, don't trigger an alert.
Because,
do you not have? Do you have another laptop that you can use for your labs?
Yeah. The one that I'm connected to right now. Yeah, I can use that next time. I'll actually do it already, so that it will be a good practice for me.
Cool. So
well,
go ahead.
Just because in like a real organization, you are probably going to run into this problem again, because you're going to have some sort of, some sort of proxy that all of your machines are going to go through. I'll just look on my other laptop quickly, because we've faced this issue before for work, and I'm pretty sure, I have an idea of what the solution is, but I just need to quickly have a look at what solution we came to. A co-worker of mine was having this exact same issue, and I accidentally fixed it one day without realizing that I had actually fixed it.
Usually I disable Umbrella if I need to, but I do it in the office when they are around me, like the security team, and all of us are working together, so they're aware. But yeah, it causes a lot of issues. I've got
at 11:12 p.m.
So I'll get a call.
I'm just going to type out a command. So git config -- global. Oops, not global.
That's a good name. Global.
Global, yep. http.ssl backend s channel. Oops, I need a space. Yeah, that should be the whole command.
Can you paste that command in the chat if you're able to?
What will this command do?
Yep, I will paste the command in.
Um,
So if you just enter that in the command line and then try again, hopefully everything should work.
Yep. Am I closing your chat, Nathan? There you go. Perfect.
Yes.
oh, it worked.
There you go.
So Nathan is gonna take steak, and he likes it. He likes it well done. So
Wow. Okay.
obviously, I'll write this down in my note and put it in there under it, and put a comment saying when a proxy server is blocking the ability to execute code or to run something internally that has to do with Git or GitLab. Do this. Use this command to bypass the SSL certificate error.
Absolutely.
So how do I get this? So because I'm in Visual Studio, VS Code, do I do a new file or connect to? Because I missed
So
that part.
if you go to open folder,
Oh, open
I think-
folder. Okay.
yeah, and then go to that projects directory.
Yep.
So Alex, have you already authenticated?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
I just opened up the actual repository I cloned. So that's what I'm looking at right here.
And once it connects, I just in the token section just paste the token and sign in, right?
Yep.
Nothing.
Nope, nothing else.
Okay, it says all done, and then go back to GitHub.
So after you've cloned it,
Yep.
Did you install Visual Studio Code?
Yep.
Yep. So all you do is just open that up, like I've got here.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And
And
if you go
I'll open
to
it.
File in the top left corner,
Yep.
go to Open Folder, and then just go and find that repository that you cloned, and then open that by clicking Select Folder. You should see this screen.
Cool.
Nathan, your noise cancelling is not working. That's interesting. Jabra.
Yeah, good old Jabra.
Yep.
It seems to do interesting things on Discord. Good thing I've doors fixed my room.
Yeah. Has everyone got in here? Obviously, Stephen, I know yourself. You haven't been working on this at all. Good. Alex and Misbah, are you guys all good? Have you got in here?
Yep.
Awesome.
Yes.
Now,
Yeah.
done next week when we come, Nathan is going to show you guys obviously how to make changes and then push the changes to your GitHub repository. Now, you don't have to wait till next week, so you can actually go and research that. What I want to see is a good note that basically details everything you've done so far, so you don't forget this ever again. So I will be going back to going to your notes and making sure that you update your notes with the relevant information, so it's up to date and it highlights exactly what you need to do to be able to finish what you've just watched. For the sake of time, we've spent more than 2 hours today. I really wanted to thank everyone for their time. And by the way, can everyone just show some appreciation to Nathan for such an incredible session? And thank you very much, Nathan. And yeah, you're a great Cyber Ninja mentor. Sorry, mentor, not mentor. I don't know where. Are you Mentos or something? Is that how nice you are? Wanted to say thank you, and yeah, it's a fun ride, and we'll continue to learn. And thanks so much everyone for obviously showing up. I know it's hard to stay to 11 p.m. at night, but this is ultimately the journey in cybersecurity. Every single person in cybersecurity is a night owl. There's no way to get around it. right? You have to start.
Yeah,
You
if
have to keep going.
if something breaks, everyone's going to be called in on the weekend to work at like night hours.
So yeah, that's pretty much it. Look, thanks so much everyone for your time today. Really appreciate it. And for those watching this later, if you do have any questions, please reach out to our Discord channel under Lab Assistance. Ask any question that you might have, and there will be a representative to answer your question. And yeah, have a great time, and we'll catch you guys all soon. Bye.
Thank you.
Good night. Bye.
Thanks, Nathan. Thanks
See
a
you
lot.
later, guys.
Thanks, mate.